Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Governors meeting this chilly Friday, January the 19th. It was a big 9 degrees as I was driving in this morning, so welcome to everyone. Glad to see you all here. We do have a couple of announcements, reminders for anyone speaking to turn on your microphone with the little green light whenever it's your turn to talk or you have a question so we can all be heard. First announcement we have is we are going to welcome and introduce our new student representative on the board, Maddox Studer. It's a pleasure to welcome you to the board today. We're glad to have you. You are the newest member of the MSSU Board of Governors, and you were appointed by the Missouri Governor Mike Parson as the student representative on the board. And that happened on December 22nd, and your term will be ending December 31st, 2025. Maddox is a business administration major with an emphasis in finance, close to my heart. He also works as a sales professional at Frank Fletcher Toyota. Maddox is from Carl Junction, Missouri, so go Bulldogs, and Maddox, welcome to the board. We're glad to have you here. Do you have any words you'd like to say?
Just nice to be here and excited for more meetings.
Great. Glad to have you. Next on the agenda, we have a special recognition today. It's now my pleasure to introduce our long-serving member and leader of the Missouri Southern Board of Governors, Mr. Bill Gibson. Since Bill's initial appointment with the board in 2014, he has had a significant and lasting impact on this university through your service as a board member and active participant on the Board of Governors. Moreover, Bill and his wife Tracy both are graduates of Missouri Southern, and you all both have made a tremendous difference throughout your service, your engagement, and your generosity to the university. It's an honor to offer the following resolution for the board for consideration today. So I'm going to read the resolution. Whereas in December 2023, William L. Bill Gibson notified Missouri Governor Mike Parson of his intent to depart from the MSSU Board of Governors, having completed his second term on the university's governing board. And whereas Bill Gibson, a native of Carthage, Missouri, graduated from Missouri Southern State University in December 1985 with a Bachelor of Science degree in Management Technology. And whereas Bill Gibson had a long and distinguished career with the Empire District Electric Company, beginning working there in 1981 in the information technology area and later promoted to Manager of Economic Development in 1987, Director of Commercial Operations in 1995, Vice President of Commercial Operations in 1997, Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer in 2001, and finally President, Chief Executive Officer, and Director in 2002. And whereas Bill Gibson retired as President and CEO of the Empire District Electric Company in 2011, and as a member of the Board of Directors in 2015, thereby ending 34 years of service to the business and residents of Southwest Missouri and Southeast Kansas. And whereas during his career, Bill Gibson was active in his profession, serving as a board member of the Missouri Energy Development Association, the Edison Electric Institute, the Financial Research Institute, and the Missouri Chamber of Commerce. And whereas Bill Gibson also faithfully served his community in a number of capacities, most notably as a board chair of the Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce, and he was recognized for his service to the area in May of 2011 by being named Joplin's Citizen of the Year. And whereas Bill and his wife of nearly 46 years, Tracy Gibson, also MSSU class of 1979, have been loyal supporters of the Missouri Southern in a number of capacities, including serving as co-chairs of the university's current Lions Forward fundraising campaign and Bill as a member of the Missouri Southern Foundation Board of Directors from 2004 to 2014, serving as vice chair in 2014. And whereas Bill and Tracy Gibson have been generous supporters of Missouri Southern and have on 2 occasions made $1 million philanthropic commitments to support the development of new academic programs. Beginning in January 2020 with the creation of the Gibson Center for Healthcare Leadership, and again in 2022, a portion of which is currently being used to launch the Data Analytics Master's Degree Program. And whereas Bill Gibson has served as a member of the Missouri Southern State University Board of Governors for 10 years, being originally appointed by Governor Jay Nixon in 2014 and reappointed by Governor Mike Parson in 2018. From 2016 to 2018, Bill served as vice chairman of the Board of Governors, and from 2018 to 2020, he served as board chair. And now, be it therefore resolved that the Board of Governors of Missouri Southern State University commends Bill Gibson for his leadership, his service, and loyalty to the institution. And this is presented by the Board of Governors this 19th day of January 2024. I would entertain a motion to approve this resolution.
So moved.
Governor Elliott has recommended the motion, and Governor Hershaway has seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Any discussion, comments from the board members here
I
today?
just want to say thank you. Thank you.
I'd echo that. I think Bill was probably one of the first board members that I talked to when I first got appointed to the board and had discussions about Mosier's and all that board financing. So he was always open to discussion and provide information and pass down knowledge of this institution. So I appreciated his time and leadership to pour into all of us.
I echo what Carlos said as well. Governor Haley said.
Thank you.
I appreciate our long-time friendship, and I know that's not going to cease. I'll miss you here. One of the things I look forward to the most when I was first appointed to the board was I was going to get to serve with my friend Bill. We've known each other for forever. So the influence that and the imprint that you've made on this university is going to be felt for generations, and quite a mark. Really proud of you. Proud to be able to call you my friend.
Okay, any other comments? At this time, we're going to ask Governor, well, not Governor anymore, Bill Gibson to come up forward, and we're going to present the resolution.
Make him aware of this. Can we do that?
How far forward?
Right up here.
Just right here?
Still asking questions.
Lions forward.
I should say thanks to Tracy also for always answering my calls.
Boy, I drove the short end of this one. Literally. That's all I heard, that's right. That's right. Got it. Thank you.
Oh, please sit down. So, Dr. Van Galen asked me if I'd say a few words, and I agreed to say a few words. First of all, I figured since the company was bought out by Liberty that they had deleted all that stuff about it. So somebody did a good job in digging all that up. I don't know who it was. Probably. It's been a real pleasure serving on this board. So you got So I started as a student in 1975. Tracy started as a student in 1977. So our connection with Missouri Southern goes back a long ways. It dawned on me earlier this week when I was thinking about it. Pretty soon, combined, we will have 100 years of connection with this institution. And I don't know whether that ought to make me feel good or not. I graduated a couple of times. Tracy graduated. Dr. Leone she graduated a couple of times. Dr. Leone introduced me one time and said that I was on the 10-year plan. And he was right, I was on the 10-year plan. But getting to serve on this board was the pinnacle for a kid that started out here in 1975 when there were half a dozen buildings total on campus, to be able to serve on this and be able to get to know students in a much better way than I probably ever knew students, and faculty and professors and administrators. And then friendships that I've developed at this board table and in the committee meeting rooms. It means a lot to me. I know it means a lot to Tracy too, that you took time to recognize us today. Our connection with Missouri Southern now may be just rabid basketball fans, but our connection with the university doesn't end here. You'll see us back, and go Lions.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Tracy. We're glad to have you here and quite honored. It's been a pleasure working with you. You're excused. You do not have to stay for the meeting. You can go. Did everybody get the pictures that they needed? Curtis, are you good? Okay, great. All right, we will move on. Next on the agenda is naming of a university facility. So the board will now consider a request to name a major campus facility, specifically the Health Science Innovation Center, which we anticipate groundbreaking this spring and opening in 2026. President Van Galen, would you please provide the board with the background on this request?
Certainly. On September 26th, the university received a letter from Mr. Rudy Farber requesting that the university consider naming the Health Science Innovation Center in honor of former United States Senator Roy Blunt. As you may know, Mr. Farber is chairman of Community Bank and Trust headquartered in Neosho, and in welcoming him here today, I want to personally thank him for his support of our university, including our efforts related to the health sciences. Mr. Farber has graciously agreed to address the board today. Mr. Farber, thank you for being here, and the floor is yours.
Madam Chairman and members of the board, it's a real pleasure to be here to advocate for naming the building after Roy Blunt. Additionally, it is a real pleasure to have seen the enthusiasm with which you welcomed back your former president, chairman, a man with whom I've had many, many years of experience, and I can tell you he's the real McCoy. The reason that I made the request was that Senator Blunt has a unique relationship with education in our state, and specifically in this neck of the woods. He started out after graduating from college as a history teacher, and he taught at Marshfield High School for a number of years. And eventually, as time went on and history worked itself out, he became president of Southwest Baptist University, which, going from that one position to another, is quite striking, but it shows you the quality of the man and his desire to have education as a very important part of what Missouri is all about. In addition, I've had the pleasure of working with him not only politically, but also in the area of, he goes into areas where history and education merge. For example, he's been very helpful in getting the Newtonia battlefield operation into the National Park Service, and is currently working on the George Washington Carver Colored School to do the same thing with it. And I think it's important for us to recognize his expertise in getting sometimes things done that some of us can't do. We also don't want to forget that he helped with the establishment of the Kansas City University School of Dental Medicine. They put in about $3 million in grants for that establishment. And as you know, that ties right into many of the programs that are here in this fine university. Not to mention the fact that he put $2 million into the POUT here, which was matched by the state of Missouri, and that goes a long way toward getting us where we need to be. I think finally, while it's not educational directly, we really ought to remember him for what he did with respect to the tornado, because he was very instrumental in helping to bring federal funds to get us out of what was a really unfortunate situation. With that in mind, he's a friend of education, a supporter of education, and furthermore, a believer in education. And I hope that you will agree with me that based on what I have said, it would be appropriate to name the upcoming Health Science Innovation Center after him. I want to thank you very much for your attention. And also I want to thank you for making MSSU a real force in our area, something of which you should really be proud, because you all are making a difference. Thank you, and I'll try to answer any questions if you have them, or if I've bored you completely. If not, I want to thank you again for your attention. It's been a pleasure being with you.
Thank you, Mr. Farber. Governor Plotnick, in response to Mr. Farber's letter, the Campus Naming Committee was convened to consider this request, specifically to name the soon-to-be constructed Health Science Innovation Center in honor of Senator Roy Blunt for his outstanding public service and in recognition of his facilitating $2 million in federal support for the building, funds that qualify for state match, effectively providing $4 million for this transformational project. The naming committee reviewed the university's naming policy, Mr. Farber's letter, and after due consideration and noting the impact of both Senator Blunt's legacy of public service and his critical role in securing federal funds for the project, the naming committee unanimously supported the naming of the facility, the Roy Blunt Health Science Innovation Center. Today, I convey this recommendation to the Board of Governors for consideration.
Thank you, Dr. Van Galen. Mr. Farber, thank you for your letter of request and for addressing the board today. We appreciate it. I would consider or entertain a motion to consider the request.
Governor Plotnick, thank you again to Mr. Farber, and in light of the University Committee's work and the administration's recommendation, I would move that in recognition of Senator Roy Blunt's distinguished public service and his support of the future of health sciences at Missouri Southern, I move that the board approve the recommendation to establish the Roy Blunt Health Science Innovation Center.
Thank you, Governor Hershaway. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Governor Haley, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, before you, next on the agenda is the minutes from the November 10th, 2023 board meeting. At this time, I'll have you review those, and I'll need an approval and a motion to approve those.
I move we approve the minutes of the November 10th meeting.
Governor Hershoway has the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Governor Rosenberg? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next on the agenda is board reports, and we'll turn it over to Dr. Van Galen for the president's report.
Thank you, Governor Plotnick. I begin by joining the board in welcoming Mr. Maddox Studdard as the new member of the Board of Governors. I've had the opportunity to visit with Maddox on a couple of occasions, and I really know he will be a very thoughtful board member and provide a great student perspective to the deliberations of the board. So Maddox, thank you for serving in this role. Much appreciated. Well, it's been quite a week at Missouri Southern. We welcome students as we began the new semester, always a joy. We had some weather challenges and responding to the water incident in Hearns Hall. I have to say I'm grateful, and I was really inspired by the flexibility, the patience, the team effort that I saw on our campus, especially a couple days ago when we literally emptied Hearns Hall in a day and moved people to those locations across campus. It was a bright day for this university, and it was inspiring to see, and I'm very grateful. Special thanks to those from facility services, university police, information technology that helped in just tremendous ways with that transition. So in a funny way, it was a great week for Missouri Southern. In my report, you'll see highlights related to several milestones and recognitions that occurred in December before the holidays. And that includes the annual holiday brunch, where we recognize some of our outstanding staff. The recipients of our Superior Service Award were Donna Pooley, Administrative Assistant in the Department of Art and Design, and Brenda Beasley, Project Manager in Academic Affairs. Both were cited for the excellence of their work. And I want to share a couple of quotes that came in nominations for these two outstanding individuals. In nominating Donna for this award, a colleague noted, "Donna is always kind and willing to help any student, faculty, or chair that needs it." One of Brenda's nominators stated, "Brenda is always thinking of others and always finds a positive way to look at the situation and always sees the best in people and circumstances." Brenda, by the way, was moved from Hearns Hall earlier this week, and I'm sure she had a silver lining to it all. So the point is, we're really fortunate to have so many talented, dedicated staff and faculty, of course, on our campus. It's wonderful. The Wilcoxon Innovation and Health Science Summit. So philanthropic support to the Lines Forward campaign continues to make a significant difference on our campus and our future. One example of that you may recall from last March, in which we celebrated a $1 million gift from Dr. Bob and Dot Wilcoxon to support the health sciences here at Missouri Southern. In my report, I've highlighted one of the impacts of that generosity. The inaugural Wilcoxon Innovation and Health Sciences Summit will take place April 11th and 12th of this year on our campus. The summit will feature sessions focused on innovation and important developments that will shape the future of healthcare and the health sciences. We anticipate strong participation from students, educators, healthcare practitioners, and communities from across the region. I'm also pleased to share with the board that the keynote address for the summit will be delivered by Dr. Krista Martin, who is the Chief Scientific Officer at Geisinger Health System. Geisinger serves central and northeast Pennsylvania and is widely recognized for the use of genomics and electronic health records to inform its healthcare practices. Dr. Martin leads Geisinger's system-wide clinical research initiatives in areas such as precision health, genomics, data science, population health, bioethics, and clinical trials. I've had the opportunity to share a Zoom call or two with Dr. Martin. I know she will be an excellent and thought-provoking speaker. The 2024 legislative session is underway, and Governor Parsons' State of the State address is scheduled for January 24th. At that time, we will learn more about his higher education budget proposals and any policy proposals that impact higher education. Missouri Southern's priorities were presented to our regional legislators at a meeting on November 14th, and face-to-face meetings with key legislators in Jefferson City are planned for February 1st. One of our priorities relates to the expansion of our statewide mission, and Senator Jill Carter has filed Senate Bill 907 and Senate Concurrent Resolution 22 that would add immersive learning experiences and health and life sciences to our statewide mission. I anticipate speaking in support of one or both of these measures at a Senate hearing within the next few weeks. Also, Representative Cody Smith is prepared to advocate for this legislation when it arrives in the House. So in closing, I believe the year 2024 will be a bright one for Missouri Southern as we look forward to progress in many of the areas that I've outlined in my report. It will also be a year of celebrations, especially in April. On April 6th, we will host a public kickoff event for the Lions Forward campaign, providing a great opportunity to thank leadership donors and announce a formal campaign goal. And on April 11th, connected to the Wilcoxon Summit, we will conduct a groundbreaking for the Roy Blunt Health Science Innovation Center. As always, progress is made possible, only possible, by the work of our faculty and staff, the work of our students, and the support of our alumni and friends. With that, thank you. That concludes my report. Always open to questions or comments.
Questions for Dr. Van Galen? Okay, thank you for your report. Next, Executive VP, Dr. Brad Hodson.
Thank you. In my report, you'll see an update on the Lyon Village water remediation from the incident that occurred on October 15th. We were able to reopen those rooms to students in 68 days. And so they were in temporary housing within our complex for just over 2 months before we were able to reopen those 45 rooms back to the students who occupied them before the incident. So that's quite a remarkable turnaround. Then the next section, you can see the work on the Health Science Innovation Center. We have completed the schematic design phase. We're moving into design development. We had a meeting with internal stakeholders on Tuesday of this week, and it went very well, and so that continues to move forward on schedule. There's a summary on the next page of the 3-year facilities improvement plan and some of the projects that are being undertaken there and their current status. And then finally, at the bottom, and I'll pass this to you if you want to pass this down, is a copy of our endowment report for the foundation that goes out every year to several hundred of our endowment donors. And there's also a card where we recognize them this Wednesday night at a home basketball game, I think it's the 24th, for their gifts and their support of the university in perpetuity. But a very interesting piece of information put out for all of our endowment donors.
Okay, questions for Dr. Hodson?
Not a question, but a comment. No more water this year.
Special request.
Yeah, I want to thank you for all the work. I know how much work it is to evacuate the dorms, but then to have another incident within a few months later in Hearns Hall and getting all those people replaced, it's quite a task. So thank you for your leadership in that project.
I'll pass that on to facilities and IT and all the folks that played a role. Thank you.
Yeah, usually it's if you don't succeed, try again, but you succeeded pretty well with the first one. I don't know why you tried again. I guess that didn't leave it.
Thank you for your report. Any other questions for Dr. Hodson? Okay. Next up, we have Provost and VP for Academic Affairs, Dr. Toms.
Just a couple of things that were in my board update. First of all, the FAFSA situation, financial aid FAFSA. You may or may not heard the Department of Education decided a couple of years ago that it's time to review and revise the FAFSA and the process and the rules that go along with it. Things didn't progress as quickly as they had hoped, and FAFSA usually goes live October 1st. It went live on December 30th, although it was rolled out as a soft launch. Basically, when that thing came down, when that thing came down, when that thing came down, the next couple of weeks after that. Federal student aid provided intermittent FAFSA availability with the soft launch so they can continue to make ongoing updates to the online form. This has caused some frustration with their followers nationwide, not Lucian support folks, our partners that provide the programming for us to be able to pull down the data and apply it to student accounts. That code is not even made available yet to our Lucian partners. And so we're a little nervous about that. This is not a Missouri Southern problem, this is a nationwide problem. And this will cause student issues with their understanding of their college or financial situation from months past the normal time. In addition, you can pretty much comply, and they announced recently that our state's Friday FAFSA deadline is now April 1st instead of February 1st. Our financial aid office is promoting FAFSA renewal in all of our usual ways through email, texting, and postcard mailers to current students. They will be hosting the FAFSA Fiesta workshops. I was in their new, I won't call it office space, but new gigs, I guess, this morning once again, and was back reviewing some of their space with Rebecca this morning. I thought the previous folks had left some paraphernalia, and I was like, yeah. There was a pinata, so it's for the FAFSA Fiesta. So that's, they saved it. They were not destroyed in the flood. But they're going to have a FAFSA Fiesta on February 14th for all current students. This is where they set up and help students to go off their FAFSA. They'll invite students, it says to Hearns, it will not be in Hearns. Most likely they'll probably invite them somewhere else, maybe in Billingsley. February 15th to the 19th, what they call FAFSA Frenzy Week. And they're also going to area high schools to assist students with their FAFSA. These students will be ongoing through January and February. And more high schools now are asking us to come for assistance with the FAFSA changes. And so it is going through that FAFSA changes that make some students available, financial aid available, and the middle class is probably less available. So it's going to be an interesting year for them to get the data pulled down and the awards made. And it can't be in a timely manner, just to get it done at this point. So FAFSA, it's a mess, it's getting better, but it's going to be a tough year for now. One other item I want to mention to you guys that was in your full report. The senior nursing student cohort completed the most recent round of standardized testing. That is a practice test situation that's worked into their coursework at the end of the semester, prepares them for their in-class licensure test. That cohort scored collectively 77 points above the national benchmark, scoring the highest of all the cohorts in the last 3 years. They completed an obstetrical exam, a pediatric exam, and a comprehensive pharmacology exam. The pharmacology exam, the composite test score, the average is 217 points above the national benchmark. This is the group that says graduate well. We're very proud of nursing. And that concludes my.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. Questions for Dr. Thomas?
With this FAFSA, is there anything, I bet you have predictions of what it might do to enrollment. Is there anything quantifiable we can,
No.
or will you be able to catch up?
I think we
Any
will, because
enrollment
it's not our
effect?
problem. It's
Yeah,
nationwide
I know it's
problem. So they can't
nationwide.
say, well, I'm just gonna go over to X university because they do better. It's not that. It's, we are concerned, but in a way,
I mean, is there anything we need to adjust in our enrollment cycle? Not yet.
I mean, our
Your-
enrollment, I'm sure Dr. Hewitt will tell you, is looking okay. But people say they're coming, not knowing what their financial situation is gonna be. But for the most part, for most of our students, it should be better. There should be more federal financial aid based on income.
And then the second thing, just real briefly, pass along our congratulations and thanks to Dr. Bills on the continued success of the nursing program.
Great. Other questions for Dr. Thomas? Thank you for your report. Next, Chief Financial Officer and Treasurer, Ms. Linda Ice.
Thank you and good afternoon. I'll begin with our Southern Summit program. This is put on by our Human Resources Department, and it's a professional development event, and it provides sessions that are divided into various learning tracks. It allows campus departments to get together to engage and educate. And there will be a keynote speaker during lunch. And these are provided both in person and on Teams to give our employees every opportunity to attend. This year's event will be held on Friday, March 1st. The next item I want to discuss is property insurance. And this is one of our expenditures that we always take a look at heavily every year. It continues to increase year over year, and it is a nationwide problem. The market basically has had extreme losses, numerous natural disasters. The pandemic didn't help with that. We had less providers, and so we're just keeping an eye on that for the FY25 budget. And just to let you know that obviously we look at that, and the universities in Missouri combined together in FY24 to garner better rates for us than if we had gone out on our own. That leads me into the fiscal year 2025 budget. Of course, it's always ongoing. The tuition work group is focused on tuition and fee structure. As we've discussed earlier, state appropriations will be determined later in the state legislative session. We always take a look at increases. I just mentioned property insurance. Mosher's retirement contributions continues to increase each year. And obviously we have continued maintenance, capital projects, and technology needs. I'll move on to the financial statements ending December 31 of 2023. The cash graph shows a cash balance of $19.3 million. This is an increase over the prior year of about $1.9 million. On our statement of net positions, our assets are $184 million. Our liabilities are $135 million, and this gives us net assets of $49 million. We move to the comparative statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position. And we always look at the difference column. Our operating revenue shows an increase of about $1.7 million. About $600,000 of that is tuition. We also have some new federal grants from DESE, and the Lion Cub Academy has garnered some federal grants. And so you can see the additional revenue there of almost $500,000. Operating expense shows a $2.2 million increase. Compensation is showing about $790,000 more. That shows the one-time payments and some of the raises that we implemented at the beginning of the fiscal year. Health insurance continues to show a difference of about $700,000, a decrease, and that's from some of the changes that we made in our health insurance. Scholarship shows an increase of not quite $1 million. Pell is a big piece of that, and we have other scholarships. So basically we're able to provide more aid to our students, and obviously as enrollment increases, our scholarship numbers will be higher. Non-operating revenues increased by $223,000. Appropriations was a big piece of that, $963,000. Investment income still continues to do very well with the interest rates. We did have a decrease from the last of the HERF dollars. We had almost $1 million last year in HERF funding. That was the last of that we do not have this year. Other revenue increase was about $800,000 decrease, and that is the prior year we had our TPAC funding, and this year we do not. And so income before the revenues, in the current year we have a decrease of $1.7 million. In the prior year we have a decrease of $1.4 million. It gives an overall decrease of $280,000. That concludes my report. I'll answer any questions.
Questions for Linda? Hearing none, thank you for your report. We do need a motion for the approval on the financial report.
So moved.
Governor Haley, the motion, and then Governor Elliott, a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, Dean of Admissions report, Dr. Shelley Hewitt.
Good afternoon. First, I would like to begin by sharing some spring recruitment event updates. In February, we have 2 Green and Gold Tour events scheduled, one in Carl Junction High School and the other in Joplin High School. During these events, we will have admissions and financial aid staff there talking about our academic programs, scholarships, and different things like that. We'll also have Rory there to take photos with the students and just kind of celebrate Missouri Southern in these schools. We're also going to provide alum who work in those school districts with Missouri Southern piece of swag that they can display in their classroom and or their offices. And we're going to allow juniors and seniors in those schools to put themselves in a drawing for a $1,000 scholarship that we will be giving away at the basketball games later that evening. And then some other things that are going on campus this spring. So we will continue to host our 2 Lion Pride visit days. We're going to have a transfer day, a dual credit day, and we always have a lot of group visits from high schools, community colleges, and such. And so we are expecting our on-campus events to continue to be very, very busy this semester. Next, I want to share some marketing highlights with you. So URM continues to run general campaigns on social media, digital billboards, and television, specifically undergrad marketing. As we do year-round, we're heavily targeting Joplin, Springfield, Northwest Arkansas, and Tulsa, and then we are going to do 2 3-month cycles in the St. Louis area. Additionally, we are doing some targeted marketing campaigns. Specifically, our MKeep program, we are doing special marketing for that. We have been using a new approach over the last couple of years for our MKeep program, and we are noting these consecutive years with this new approach that we have seen an increase in applications at the time when those the digital marketing and everything is cycling through those areas. And so Reed and his team are keeping track of the analytics with the marketing that we're using for them to ensure that what we're doing is being successful. In addition to that, we are doing some targeted marketing for our graduate programs, including data analytics as well as the MBA, which we heard about earlier. We are also, for general graduate marketing, we're doing Google paid search and social media advertising, and we are finding that this is the best way to make sure that all of our graduate programs are receiving attention as well. Data analytics, healthcare administration, and our new MBA program for this spring, we are going to be running heavy marketing in the areas for that we know we are established brands for. In addition to that, specifically data analytics and MBA marketing in Northwest Arkansas and Tulsa. And this is going to help define our audience and shape how we target individual future marketing campaigns. So we are using those 2 graduate programs to establish a marketing template, if you will, for new programs in the future. And I think you kind of saw that when Dr. Bucheri was talking about how we're marketing the MBA and the data analytics program earlier today. And then finally, I really want to share great news about spring enrollment, something that I feel that the entire campus should be very proud of because it has been a collaborative effort across the entire campus to make this happen. But a few highlights I want to share with you. So as of this morning when I ran the data, I can tell you that overall graduate student enrollment is up 44%. That includes degree seeking and non-degree seeking, and we're very excited to see graduate enrollment continue to flourish here on campus. New student enrollment, which includes new graduate students, new transfer students, and new freshmen, is up 15% from this time last spring. And we are anticipating this spring semester that overall enrollment is going to be up in credit hours as well as head count compared to census last year, if we continue on the trajectory that we're going until census. And then finally, I just wanted to share international student enrollment. Overall enrollment for international students is up 56% from this time last spring. And so we're really encouraged by that. And so overall, enrollment is trending very, very well here at Missouri Southern, and I think that's something that we all have to celebrate. That concludes my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Questions for Dr. Hewitt? Great news on the enrollment. We're all smiles over here. I know it's a collaborative effort, so thank you. Thank you for your report. Next, Director of Athletics, Mr. Mallory.
Thank you very much. I'll begin my report. Have to mention the continued academic success of our student athletes. Some highlights from the fall 2023 semester include 8 programs with a team GPA of 3.25 or better for the term. Nearly 60% of our student athletes earned a 3.0 GPA, and 40% were at a 3.5 or better. And then the cumulative GPA as we enter this semester for the department is a 3.19. It's 11 consecutive semesters that mark has been at a 3.0 or higher. So very proud of the work our student athletes are doing in the classroom. This year is the 50th anniversary of the NCAA's current divisional structure. And to celebrate that milestone, Division II established the 50th Anniversary Gold Award, which was designed to recognize 2 individuals, one male and one female, who have made a lasting and positive impact in Division II over those 50 years. Sally Beard, former athletic director and coach here at Missouri Southern, was one of 45 finalists for that award as the female nominee from the MIAA. So a tremendous honor to be recognized at that level, essentially saying she made the most lasting and positive impact of any female in the 50-year history of the MIAA as a Division II member. New year brings some changes to the athletic staff, and those are mentioned in my report. That includes 3 new hires in the areas of compliance, operations, and athletic training, critical areas to our department. So excited to have those people on board and to see what they can contribute to the continued success of Missouri Southern athletics. And finally, I would be remiss if I didn't mention some of our fall sports success, which included continued improvement of the football program under head coach Atiba Bradley, the volleyball team breaking some new ground in the MIAA tournament, top 5 regional finishes for both the men's and women's cross-country programs, and then building off a really strong spring of 23 campaign, outstanding fall seasons for both men's and women's golf, as our men lead the MIAA standings coming out of the fall, heading into the spring. So, continued great things from our student athletes in the classroom and in competition. That concludes my report. I'm happy to take any questions.
Questions for Mr. Mallory?
One question. What do we got to do to get women's basketball ranked?
I assure you, were we doing regional rankings right now, which are the only ones that really matter, we would be there. I don't know what to do about the coaches that don't do anything but pay attention to win-loss record.
Okay. They'll see us coming.
Further questions? Thank you for your report. Next, Faculty Senate President, Dr. Jean Colthorpe.
Thank you. Faculty Senate this fall dissolved one of our committees. I guess we technically didn't dissolve. We're putting it on hold just to see if we can survive without it. But there was a lot of overlap in 2 IT committees on campus, and since everyone's stretched so thin with committees, we thought we would try to dissolve this one. We are still making progress in our ad hoc committee that is looking at promotion and tenure standards, changing those. A few departments requested to take another pass at their tiered system that they submitted, so those are back to department chairs. And the committee is actually offering all departments a look at what other departments are doing. I think that's a really great idea, so if they want to steal something from another department. Of course, that is like any policy. Every 3 years we can go back and look at that, but I have heard nothing but good things about these changes. And the rest of my report isn't true anymore. So, are there any questions?
Any questions? Thank you, Dr. Culver, for your report. Staff Senate President, Ms. Alicia Hughes.
Thank you. My report includes all of our Angel Tree kind of wrap up, no pun intended, information. We served 114 children gifts from the Angel Tree program this year. Since 2014, 815 children have received Christmas gifts provided by our faculty, staff, and other community people. We're currently soliciting wrapping paper, bows, stocking stuffers, any of those things that people find on clearance or just want to pick up, so that we have the wrapping and all needs for next year already met and don't have to ask for those at the same time we're asking for gifts. But we also, when we're handing out gifts, give them an opportunity to write thank you cards. And so this year, I noticed that was happening, so I asked if I could have a copy of just a few of the thank you cards, and I included 3 of those in my report of just from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate the kind hearts, and thank you for your generous gift. This wouldn't be possible without your help. So we just know that we're making an impact, and we're making an impact in a positive way, and I couldn't be more proud of the Angel Tree program. And then not in my report because it hadn't happened yet, I just want to say thank you to everybody on campus. Thank you to our administrators. Thank you to all of our IT, our facilities, all of those who helped us get out of Hearns Hall. That was such an amazing Wednesday was tough, but Wednesday was amazing. I've never been more proud to be a Lion in my entire life than watching everybody just rally around everybody. And since my office has moved into Webster, and we have people pop their heads in that say, "Welcome to Webster. We're so glad that you're here." And it's really been something. I've been here 20 years today as an employee, and thank you. And I have so much joy after this week, and I'm just so proud that I'm very thankful to be a part of this team. That concludes my report.
Okay, questions for Ms. Hughes? Thank you for your report and everything you do on the Angel Tree. It's very, very exciting to see how that's grown over the years.
And again, congratulations formally, not under
20
my
years
name.
today.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for your report.
Thank you.
Next, Student Senate President, Mr. Maddox Studard.
Thank you and good afternoon. Since, as you can tell, this is my very first Board of Governors meeting, but at this time, let's keep it short and sweet. I don't have a report for this meeting, but if there's any personal questions that I can answer, I'd be happy to.
And did you tell me in the other room you're going to Jeff City tomorrow or later this week?
Next week on Wednesday.
Yeah, and you just went last week or something?
Yeah.
So. He set a precedent for you.
Any tips you can provide him?
No.
Great. Any questions for Maddox? Glad to have you on board, and again, looking forward to seeing you each time we get together. Okay, that concludes our reports. On now is our board committees. And the Personnel and Compensation Committee met today. Chair Governor Elliott.
Yes, we met in closed session for our regularly scheduled mid-year review with Dr. Van Galen. And we did.
Okay. Thank you for your report. Next up, Academic Affairs, and I'll turn it over to the chair, Dr. Rosenberg.
Thank you. We met this morning, a little bit, have more to report than T. Mark. We received updates from Dr. Toms, of which you all received some this afternoon. We examined academic changes in some of our programs. We started one new graduate program. We started 3 new undergraduate programs. They would be a MBA in Applied Data Analytics for the graduate. For the undergraduate, a Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Arts, I guess, emphasis in supply chain management, which was an interesting one. A certificate in supply chain management, and a new minor in supply supply chain management. We did drop 3 programs due to lack of activity. And I would bring a motion to the floor that we approve these new programs.
Okay, there's a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Governor Hershaway. All those in favor to approve the add and drop academic programs, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. We reviewed the faculty sabbatical recommendations, and two of our faculty members, Dr. Shriver and Dr. Bentley, were approved. Dr. Shriver for the whole year and Dr. Bentley for the fall of 2024. And I would bring a motion that we approve those.
Okay, we have a motion on table to approve the 2 sabbatical recommendations. Do we have a second? I'll second. Governor Morgan? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
We reviewed our intellectual property policy and will continue a discussion in that topic at our March meeting. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Governor Rosenberg. Any questions for him? Great, thank you for your report. Next, budget and audit met, and I'll turn it over to Governor Haley.
Thank you, Governor Potnick. Budget and Audit Committee met to discuss the development of a new undergraduate course fee that will hopefully transition and replace some of the current fee structures that we have in place. So that will be continued to redone and hopefully get approved before we start the next budget process for this fall. There was a healthy discussion regarding our external audit engagement. So I think that will continue, but I do have a motion for that to approve a 1-year extension of our current engagement contract with Forvis for this current audit engagement. And so I would entertain a motion to approve that.
Okay, we have on the table a motion for a 1-year extension on the audit contract with Forvis. Governor Haley, is there a second?
Second.
Governor Seibert? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Additionally, from that, the board is going to have additional conversations regarding our audit process and auditors going forward in relation to the next steps for the prior year or for the previous year. So that'll continue to move on for our March meeting as well. And then lastly, we had a brief summary regarding purchasing contracts that are available to Missouri Southern, either at the state level or local level. Just want to ensure that we're always supplying the best cost processes across campus. And that's the end of my report.
Any questions for Governor Haley? Thank you for your report. Next on the agenda is old business. Is there any old business to come before the board? Hearing none, we'll move on to any new business to come before the board. Okay, next on the agenda is our future meeting dates. We have March 15th, 2024, June 13th, 2024.
Do we know when the May graduation is?
Yes.
May 11th?
Okay, and that's a 2, morning and afternoon.
Yes, there were 2.
Okay.
And one other item, isn't there a board recognition at a game coming up soon, or a basketball game? Did I see something?
The Boards, Bites, and Brews event. Yeah,
I think it's the 8th, but let me look.
February 8th?
No, let me look.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Let me confirm that.
Is the 8th?
yeah.
Just a reminder, February 8th, there'll be recognition of the board at the basketball game, the home basketball game. So wanted to remind everybody on that.
I'll be out of town.
Okay. Great. Hearing no other items to come before the board, I'll entertain a motion to dismiss.
I'd move to adjourn.
Adjourn. Governor Haley, a second.
Second.
Governor Governor Haley, sorry. Hershaway and Haley. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're dismissed. Thank you all. Safe travels back.
Good job. Thank you.